Hello everyone, my name is Omar. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. So last week I couldn't post a video. I wasn't feeling well. Now I'm back with all my health and let's have the new video for today. So in today's video we're going to discuss about Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol (DHCP) in Cisco. So before we start with the use case scenario which we have for today, let's have a walk over DHCP. So in this diagram, you see how DHCP. So what is DHCP? DHCP is to assign network information to your host inside your network automatically without giving static IP address. DHCP operates over ports 67 and 68 of TCP. And let's talk about this IP address in a while, but first let's talk about the process. So what happens is you have your host inside your network, you have a DHCP server, these are all your DHCP clients. So let's say I'll say this is a client. Now, client does not know who the server is. The server does not know what clients are there on my network. So, the host over here, the client will send out a DHCP discovery message. This will be a broadcast message because it does not know who the server is. So, it will send out a broadcast message, and all the servers will receive it. So, if there are multiple servers, let's say if this is another server over here, let's say I'll just draw it. DHCP server 2. This is DHCP server 1. So both the servers will receive a broadcast message coming from the client about the DHCP discover. The servers will reply to this client with a unicast message. So this will be a one-to-one message going back to the client. And whichever server's message is received first. So if this host A received DHCP server's one message first, so it will send out a DHCP request, which will be again a broadcast message. Now what happens is this will send out a broadcast message. So this server will come to know that my offer was rejected and some other server's offer was accepted. The server will see that my server is accepted and it is requesting a IP address from me. It's requesting some network information, IP address, default gateway, DNS server, and so on. And then it will send out a proper IP address, which will be again a unicast conversation between the DHCP server 1 and the host over here, the DHCP client. Now the thing is, how does the host communicate with the DHCP server? What happens is it needs a proper IP address. It does not have an IP address. That's the reason we are doing DHCP. So to initiate the communication, what it does is it uses something known as an APIPA address. APIPA stands for Automatic Private IP Address, which will be from the range of 169.254.0.0/16. So if you guys see a host having this particular address, that means this address is just for the communication with a DHCP server. So this is, I'll just write it down, to communicate with a DHCP server. Okay, so that's it. So today what are we going to do? So in today's scenario, we are going to talk about a multi-layer switch, and we have multiple VLANs configured on this particular switch. So the switch has 3 VLANs, so VLAN 10, 20 and 30. And there are some host connectors, so my access layer switch is also having these VLANs configured, and the PCs are configured as shown. So this is a VLAN 10, there are some PCs in VLAN 20 and some PCs in VLAN 30. I'll talk about this last PC in a moment. So we have to configure VLAN based DHCP today. So I'll just write it, VLAN based DHCP. So how do we configure that? So what we have configured, I'll just show you inside my switch first, and then I'll show you what we have to configure for the DHCP part of it. So let's get the switch up here. So this is my multi-layer switch 0, enable, show run. So I have configured one interface as my trunk, which is going down to my access layer switch. That is configured as a trunk interface VLAN 1, the default VLAN. The VLAN 10, VLAN 20 and VLAN 30, they have their own IP addresses. So I have given some IP addresses over here. For VLAN 10, VLAN 20, I have created SPL and I have created VLANs also. I don't see the VLANs obviously in the show run configuration. They are stored in the VLAN.dat file in the flash. So I'll just show you what VLANs I have configured. Show VLAN brief. And it shows me I have VLAN 10, 20 and 30 configured, and I have VLAN 1 acting as my default VLAN. So this is what I have inside my multi-layer switch. I'll take you to the topology wherein I'll show you my access layer switch also. with how the configuration has been done. So I'll just do again a show VLAN brief command over here, and it shows me that I have VLAN 10, 20, 30, and I have some PCs connected. So I have 0/1 and 2, that is the first two PCs. They are configured to VLAN 10, the two PCs VLAN 20, one PC in VLAN 30. So these are the PCs, this is how I have configured the topology. And now the last interface is an interesting one. So I have just created a trunk port. So this is my trunk port on my switch, and this interface is connecting to the trunk port. One of my pieces is the trunk port. Why I have done that, I will explain you in a while. So I'll just show you the trunk ports over here. So let us just verify show interface trunk, that's the command. So I see port number 06 is my trunk where my PC is connected, and port number 0/24 is the uplink going to my core switch, the layer 3 switch, which is also configured as a trunk port. So now we have to configure a VLAN based DHCP over here. Okay, this Microsoft Whiteboard just shut down on its own. Just give me a moment, guys, it will come up. I hope it should come up with all the configuration which we have done. Yes. Okay. So VLAN based DHCP, this is what we have to configure. So what I have to configure is I have chosen some networks over here. You can see it's a bit small. So VLAN 10 is having a network of 10.1.1.0, VLAN 20 a network, VLAN 30 a network, and I write something which I have missed over here, that is VLAN 1 also has a network of 100.1.1.0/24. And I have also configured an interface for VLAN 1, which is 100.1.1.1/24. So my PCs, when they send out a DHCP request to my server, they should get an IP based on the VLAN which they're sending the request. Okay, so this is what we have to do, and I have written down the configuration over here in Notepad file just for you guys to understand simply. So first, the SVI addresses, 10.1.1.1, 20.1.1.1, 30.1.1, and 100.1.1.1. So those are the SVI addresses for my VLANs configured on my multi-layer switch. So I have to exclude those addresses from the pool, and then I have to configure 4 pools. One pool for VLAN 10, one pool for VLAN 20, one pool for VLAN 30, and one pool for my default VLAN 1. So we'll quickly go do the configurations on the switch. Just copy paste this, or maybe I'll just configure it in front of you. So it won't take much time. Let's say IP DHCP excluding address. So I have to exclude 100.1.1.1. That's a mistake. 100.1.1.1. Just make this a bit bigger. Yes. I'll exclude 10. I exclude 20, and I exclude 30. So all my addresses are excluded, and I'll just copy paste the pool from there. So that will be making our task much easier. Okay, and let's go back to this multi-layer switch and paste. Okay, that's it. Exit. Then let's just repeat the configuration. So for VLAN 10, choose a network that is 10.1.1.0. Choose a default router, that is the default gateway. Choose a DNS server, we don't need it, but we are still giving it. Exit. Then VLAN 20, repeat the steps. Okay. So 20. Then default router is 21.1.1, that is the SPI address. Then we need the DNS server, and then we can exit. Then VLAN 30, I'll just copy it from here straight off. That's the simple thing to do. Okay, and exit. So if I just take this show run configuration, now I have the excluded addresses, and I have all the VLANs with their own respective pools. So default VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 30. Just have a quick look through. Yes, everything looks good. Okay, perfect. Now what I have to do is I have to just go to my PCs and request IP addresses, and I'll see what IP addresses I am getting for all these PCs. So this is a VLAN 10 PC, and I expect it to get an IP address from VLAN 10. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 10.1.1 already has an IP address. This PC, let's go and check it. DHCP, it should get again from VLAN 10. Yeah, that's it. You see that? You're getting an address from the VLAN 10 pool. Similarly, I'll do it for all these PCs over here. Yes, this is already having an IP address. Let's go to this PC, desktop, and click on DHCP. So I've used Packet Tracer for this particular example. So it is getting an IP address, and here it should be getting an IP address from VLAN 30 spool. Okay, so here I am properly getting all the IP addresses on the VLAN which I have configured the PCs to be at. Now talking about this PC over here, this is configured on a trunk port. Okay, so let's see, let me get the whiteboard. Yeah. So this PC over here is on my trunk port. So just pause for a second and think that which network will this PC get an IP address from. Now this is a trunk port, and in the trunk port, the native VLAN by default, so with everything set to default, the native VLAN is 1. Now when I request a DHCP address on a trunk interface of the switch, it will get an IP address from the native VLAN of that particular trunk port. So whatever is the native VLAN, if my native VLAN was 10, it will get an IP address from the VLAN 10 pool. If it is 20, then from the 20 pool. If it is 30, from the 30 pool. But in default conditions, it will the native VLAN over here is 1, and it will get an IP address from interface from the VLAN 1 network, that is 100.1.1.0/24. And to check that, let's go back to our topology. Let's go on this PC, IP, and let's say static, and again you will request a DHCP address. And here you go. You see the IP address is 100.1.1.2, which is from the VLAN. Written over here is from the VLAN 1 network, that is 100.1.1.0. And the last step to verify, I'll just show you the command over here. So to verify, you have one simple command in Cisco, which is show IP DHCP binding, which will show me what IP addresses have been assigned to which host. Show IP DHCP binding, and here it shows me this is the hardware address and what networks, what IP addresses have been assigned to what hardware address over there. So it was a very simple topology, simple video. I hope you guys liked what you have seen. Please comment your thoughts below in the comment section. Share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't still subscribed yet. And stay tuned for more videos on networking coming every Monday and Friday. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.